My name is Kevin Cole. I am Director of Product Management here at the Pass and Seymour Business Unit of Legrand up here in Syracuse, New York. Today I'll be joined by Jeff Britt, who is one of our senior salespeople who is really specialized in a lot of the contractor relationships that we serve across various markets, and is one of our experts in EV charging as well. So he'll kind of tag team along the way with me. But today we intend to take you through a number of items related to our latest and greatest EV charging product launches. Hopefully get you guys up to speed and comfortable with the Legrand offering, and answer any questions, of course, that you have along the way. As Dustin mentioned, please come to us with any questions. We'll do our best to answer everything we can. All right, so brief learning objectives today. We'll talk about the early success and market entry that we've had so far with our EV charging offering. Obviously, it's a huge market. It's growing quickly. There's a ton of opportunity out there. We're going to spend the bulk of today talking about the products themselves. So probably a little bit technical. But really trying to help you understand the key features and benefits, selling points, and really what's maybe unique about our offering relative to some of the other competitors out there. And then we'll help you understand what we're doing maybe behind the scenes to help you, go sell our product and stock our product and all the benefits that we have, both from a product standpoint, but also from a resource and marketing standpoint as well. So with that being said, so it's interesting. Our EV charging journey, didn't just begin this year. For those that have followed it, we've actually been, in and out of this category really since 2009. And I think this is an important message. We're not brand new to the space. We understand what end user needs are. We understand how challenging the space is, and we can leverage some of those experiences to kind of think about the future. So 2009, we actually partnered with a company that was trying to solve some components around ground fault protection in their engine, and we kind of stumbled into our way of EV charging. Of course, the market wasn't quite as robust as it is today. We were in, and we kind of got out. We realized that the market needed to develop some more, so we kind of sat on the sidelines a bit and reevaluated our strategy. At the same time, and this is an important note, Legrand Group actually acquired a couple of companies specialized in electric vehicle charging. EcoTap is probably the most well-known over in Europe. It's a company located in the Netherlands. They kind of focus on DC fast charging and serve kind of the public charging sector. And they also acquired a company called Ensto Building Systems, which, among other things, offered the ability to do EV charging as part of a kind of a holistic building systems type approach. So I think there's some building blocks in place and definitely some technical know-how that we can tap into as we continue to think about our roadmap. And in fact, I was on a call this morning doing exactly that. And then, of course, earlier this year and even recently, we've been very active trying to bring new products to the market. So we'll tell you all about what those look like and more. So I'm not going to spend much time on the market itself. I know you guys are already active in the space, and there's a lot of demand. You can slice up the market any which way. You can argue about market sizes. We've got it pegged at something like a $2 billion market growing at near 30%. No matter which way you slice it, it is a huge market, and it's one of our fastest growing markets. And the good thing is, when you think about the market back, as I mentioned, back in 2009, for example, it was really some government push trying to influence the market. This today is really a mixture of public and private investment, and it's solid commitments, from every single auto manufacturer. So, no matter which way you feel about politics, you can't argue with the fact that once corporate America starts putting their money towards commitments, things start to happen, and I think that's what we're seeing here. Obviously, it's moving very, very quickly. And there's a lot of companies focused on what are those differentiators going to be in the future, right? Is it installation costs? Is it reliability of charging is a big deal. How fast can you charge? And then all of it can't be done without infrastructure readiness and support. So a lot of emerging opportunities in the space itself as well as surrounding it. As far as charging levels go, this is a pretty generic slide, if you will. But if you're unfamiliar with the charging arena, there's really three defined levels of EV charging, and they're as such. So level one, think of that as trickle charging, 120 volts, uses a standard, 120 volt outlet that you'd find in your home or in your office. That's really like convenience charging, extension cord type charging. That's not a very attractive space, but maybe a space where you round out a portfolio with an accessory type product. On the other end of the spectrum, it's level 3 DC fast charging. And really that's geared towards, I know the infographic shows at 60 to 100 miles per 20 minutes of charge. And I can tell you that if you follow the space, it's much more significant than that. And some of the leaders in that space have the ambition of going from, say, 0 to 80% in 15 minutes. The equipment on that end of the spectrum, as you can imagine, requires significant infrastructure readiness and can be as much as six figures when you look at the spend on the hardware. Where we are settling and where we're starting out here is with level 2 charging. All right, so level 2 charging for us makes the most sense as Legrand EWS, because when we think about the spaces that we are well suited to play and win in, it's commercial, it's residential, it's spaces where we can rely on existing points of distribution like yourself, but also those electrical contractors doing the work that are simply being asked to do more, right? This is another extension of the infrastructure that they're supporting, and these are spaces, these are customers that we already know. So it's only natural that we jump in this area. Again, everything you're going to hear about from a product standpoint today is level 2 charging. It doesn't mean we're not looking at other opportunities, but certainly, right at the forefront. And quite frankly, the bulk of the opportunities in the market are centered around level 2. So a bit on market segmentation. I'm not going to go too far into detail here. Just know that when we slice that kind of level 1, 2, 3 up, our market focus with level 2 charging really relies on two main spaces. That's residential and commercial. There's a little bit of public charging, of course, with level 2, parking lots, parking garages, and things of that nature. But really, again, that falls in our sweet spot. And there's a lot of studies out there. Some say 85%, others say upwards of 90%. But the vast majority of charging is happening really in the home, right? So single family home and multifamily is certainly an opportunity. That's where there's quite a bit of volume going right now, and that's where our initial products, at least, are really angled at. So what are those products? We're gonna jump in. So I'll take probably the first half of the product section, and then, as I mentioned, Jeff Britt is going to tag in and cover the second half. All right. So our product portfolio is split. I'll say that before I dive in. We really have a split between non-networked and networked charging. All right, so I probably should have added a slide just quickly to walk you through that. But in a sense, think of non-network as just a basic plug and charge, right? I don't need any sort of network connectivity, such as Wi-Fi or cellular, or even an Ethernet connection. As long as I have power coming into that unit, I can carry out the basic function of charging my vehicle. That non-networked level 2 offering is brought to you by our Pass and Seymour product line, and primarily is going to serve residential opportunities, although you will see some opportunities outside the home for basic non-network charging as well. The other half of the offering, which Jeff will talk about, is our networked level 2 charging. And really what that gets into is, hey, the end user wants to be able to manage a charging session, right? So whether it's access control or payment or otherwise, there's added functionality beyond just charging in the way of services that need to be tacked on. So just know that Legrand has both. Non-networked lie on the Pass and Seymour side of things. Networked level 2 lies on the wire mold side of things. And really, from a go-to-market standpoint, I think it suits us well because a lot of those wire mold products are geared towards, a specifier type conversation. And certainly, as you get into the network level 2 capabilities, you have to have specs written around those spaces and end user conversations. All right. So with that said, I'm going to dive into our non-networked offering. And before I get started, we'll talk about just a couple of quick things. So we have product available on the market. Hopefully this is not the first time you're seeing or hearing about this, but Legrand has been out there with a non-networked level 2 plug-in charger for just over 2 months. I think we've got something like over 100 units into the market already. And the good news is we have a stellar 5-star rating on anything that's been reviewed on public websites. So what I can tell you, because I get a lot of reviews that come through our sales team and through the channel, I'll hear things like this. Hey, I love how small your unit is for how powerful it is. Right? It's compact. It's ready to go. I love the fact that it's ready to install right out of the box. Right. So we've built really a strategy with these non-network products as, hey, it's really easy to pick this up, understand what it is, go install it, and then not have any headaches of maybe commissioning or servicing that after the fact. Speaking of service, one of the other pieces I just want to hit right up front. Again, these non-network level 2 charges are brought to you by Pass and Seymour. Hopefully that's a name that you trust and a brand that has good recognition in the channel. They are actually, both of our chargers are actually part of our cornerstone committed items, meaning, hey, if we miss a shipment by a certain date, we have to pay our cornerstone fine, and we keep certain levels of stock and inventory to guarantee essentially shipping performance. So it's something we take very, very seriously for our customers, and hopefully that translates into some confidence when you go out and talk about that product. As far as the products go, before I dive in, just a really quick level set on the part numbering scheme. We have 2 products today, 2 versions essentially of a very similar SKU, but we've got a plug-in variation and a hardwire variation. The market's somewhat split, and those of you who have been selling EV chargers now will understand this. There are some who prefer a plug-in EV charger, and typically you see that in residential settings. Mainly that's a homeowner demand. Hey, I want to maybe I'm thinking of moving in the not so distant future, and I want to take that charger with me. Or maybe I'm really kind of up on technology, and when there's some latest and greatest tech trend, I want to be able to upgrade that on my own without having to call a contractor. That's where the plugins come into play. The hardwires, and again, this is generalizing, it's not every instance, but the hardwire SKU typically is a more professional installation. Contractors will prefer that. It's really a better connection, one less junction on the circuit because you don't have a plug and a receptacle. And oh, by the way, we can crank up the power flowing through that one because there's one less connection as well. Either way, we think we've created a part numbering scheme that makes some sense here. You can see it on the screen, but L2 for level 2 charging, EVSE for electric vehicle supply equipment. That beginning 6-character prefix is the same for both of our part numbers. Then it comes 40 or 48, depending on the output. So 48 amps is our hardwired SKU. 40 amps is the max rated current on our plug-in. AC is the same for both. That's alternating current. We do not currently have any DC chargers. And then if it has a suffix, that's where we've given the latitude to be able to put the plug configuration on there. Today we've got a P1450, for example, for a NEMA 1450 style plug. So that's our part numbering scheme. As far as what the product actually looks like and what it does. So here we're showing our hardwire version. Again, L2 EVSE 48 AC. The couple of highlights that I'll hit. It's got a really compact frame, so it's 7-inch by 7-inch. Pretty small unit, which is convenient, by the way, when you're hanging that on the wall in a garage. Don't want to take up a ton of space, or even exterior to your house. And oh, by the way, it does have a NEMA 3R rating for indoor and outdoor mounting. LED status indicator, which will change colors based on status. It comes shipped with a pretty sleek looking cable hook and holster. And that cable is a standard 18-foot type EVE flexible cable. With a J plug on the end of it. So a J1772, that's the non-Tesla connector. It will charge all vehicles. Of course, Tesla needs an adapter. I know we're going to get the question, so I'll head it off in advance. Every charger that you see today, at some point, will have a Tesla plug on the end of it. We're working through the details of what that looks like, but just know that we've identified that in our near-term roadmap, and we'll get there. Just a matter of time. Again, this product, the hardwired product, can kick out a 48 amp charge. So 48 amps at 240 volts is approximately 11.5 kilowatts. So it's right up there as far as being competitive from a charging standpoint to any product out there in the industry. And this hardwire product, the cool thing about it beyond the output is it can be adjusted. So, in the case where somebody doesn't have capacity at the panel to add a 60 amp breaker, or for whatever reason they want to derate it, there's a dip switch inside the product which can be set to 16, 32, 40, or 48 amps. It comes pre-wired at 48 amps. And finally, one of the nice features that we've built in, we recognize the need for productivity for our installers. That's kind of our claim to fame at Pass and Seymour. And we feel like we've done our homework as far as the NEC is concerned. So a hardwired product does require an NEC approved conduit system. And we've supplied a 3-foot piece of 1-inch liquid tight conduit with 2 liquid tight connectors to really complete that installation. So really this unit could be wired directly to the breaker if your panel's in the same room, or it could be wired to a junction box in that conduit system. So we've given some extra components in that kit to be able to make up that NEC compliant install. I think I've talked through most of this. I'm just going to hit the highlights on this slide, but it's pretty straightforward as far as installation is concerned. Again, it's a non-network charger, so really once it's powered up, you should be good to go. But with all of our products that have an 18-foot standard cable length, obviously where you mount it becomes pretty important. So some pre-planning just to select the location. There's a mounting bracket on the back of it. that is secured with some security screws, two of them, one on each side. But the bracket attaches directly to a wall surface. The charger hooks onto the bracket and is fastened with security screws, as I mentioned. And then you make up your circuit. So for 48 amp max rated current, you would want a 60 amp 2-pole breaker dedicated for EV charging here, and then it becomes simply wiring the incoming circuit to the unit. It's a 3-wire makeup, so it's a 240-volt system, but red wire, black wire, and a green ground wire. And that's that. I show a picture of the actual dip switch. If that setting needs to be adjusted, the cover needs to come off. There's a Allen wrench in the toolkit that's provided with the product that will loosen the security screws, and then a flathead screwdriver can simply make that adjustment. But in most cases, they're going to leave that at the 48 amp max rated current to provide a faster charge. And once the unit's powered up, it should have a steady blue indicator indicating it's ready to charge. So pretty straightforward. Contractors like it because it doesn't involve software and other complex installation steps. On the plug-in side, it's probably even more straightforward. I've listed out, honestly, the features and benefits here, but I can tell you that once you get to know the hardwire product, you're pretty similar here with the plug-in product. So again, same form factor. The key difference is your incoming power is done through a flexible cable and has a NEMA 1450 plug on the end of a 3-foot cord whip. We've carefully selected a lot of things in the design here. That 3-foot cord whip, I'd encourage you to compare it to some of the alternatives. I've seen leaded products or whipped products with as short as 12-inch, which doesn't leave a whole lot of space for the installer to maneuver. So it is a little bit of added productivity there. Of course, the plug-in product has a 40 amp output versus 48, and that's again just governed by the fact that there's an extra connection, but it is competitive as far as the top chargers from a plug-in standpoint on the market. One piece I skipped over on the last, but it's shown on the bottom left here. All of our EV chargers are ETL listed to UL standards, have an FCC listing, and a big one is Energy Star. So Energy Star is a big one, especially when you dig into some of the rebates and incentives programs that are out there in the market. It is ROHS compliant, and there are no CA Prop 65 warnings on this product either. So that is, I'm showing some infographics here, which you'll see throughout a lot of our marketing pieces, but this is kind of a recap of all the features and benefits that we go to market with on these non-network products. We really feel like we've packed a lot of important features in, but we've also tried to keep it simple. We know that we've heard direct feedback from people that, hey, if you're not going to do anything groundbreaking as far as smart features are considered, when it comes to basic standalone residential charging, we just want a good unit for a fair price, and try to make it look kind of good because it's going to live in a residential setting, maybe in my garage, and we feel that we've hit the market there. So I've talked a bit about this, but I'll hammer it home. I promise I'm almost done, and then you can hear Jeff. What makes us unique? All right, so I'm going to go a little bit out of order here, but I think the first piece is hey, it's a charger that's backed by a really good brand, which sounds really easy to say, but if you take a look at a lot of the products that are on the market, these may be one-off competitors that don't supply any other products, that may be pretty new to the industry. And when you get into issues of service and quality and warranty, and all the rest, and dedicated sales teams and so on and so forth, there may be some real questions that you need to wrestle with. Legrand is certainly, been around for a long time, and we're pioneers in electrical safety. We've got a really solid service program and a legacy of service with our Cornerstone program, and these EV chargers are part of that program. So when you think about the whole package that we bring to the table, product and rebates and co-op dollars, demand creation, the way we cover our territories with our sales teams, there's a whole lot that tags along with just the product pitch. As far as the product's concerned, again, the word that I keep using is compact, but still a powerful design. It's a 7x7 unit, but it packs a punch, right? 48 amp current rating on the hardwire product. That's right up there with any product out there. So powerful level 2 charging, which is really what you need when you're trying to charge your vehicle at home, say in an overnight instance where you've got to be ready to go out the next day. And oh, by the way, it's indoor outdoor with a NEMA 3R rating. And then the last piece, don't forget about, especially as it relates to this hardwire product, it's really ready for a code compliant installation, right? So when you buy the Legrand product, giving you that conduit kit is actually a nice piece. It's a big deal when you think about the fact that a contractor has to complete, a NEC compliant installation, and we give you those materials right out of the box. And of course, it's got all the proper listings to meet the mark, and will qualify for several rebate and incentive programs out there. And again, promise you, we've applied for as many as we can with this product. The last thing I'll say is when you think about the plug-in product, we've got other opportunities there. You're likely aware of our 3894 offering. That's obviously a pretty hot product for connecting plug-in chargers to. We're selling a lot of 3894s right now. In fact, we actually have a 3894 WR, which is pictured here on the right-hand side of the screen. And I would actually recommend that product for EV charging, because that it's built for weather-resistant environments. So even in the garage, you could have some moisture, issues down the road. 3894 WR is a really nice product, especially if you're talking to service contractors or folks that are maybe pre-wiring homes for EVs. Those 3894s and 3894 WRs, along with stainless steel wall plates and weatherproof boxes, those are areas where we can maybe bring even more value to the installation through our Legrand brand. Finally, before I jump to Jeff, just a quick hit on pricing and inventory. It goes without saying, the right product at the right price with enough inventory will drive sales. Our plug-in product has been available on the market, like I said, for a couple of months now. I know that Capital has brought some of the products into stock. So that should be all set up and live in your systems today. The hardwire version will be officially launching to you guys on Friday, September 15th. So just a couple of days away, and essentially be priced right at the same level. So we feel like we're priced to compete. And from an inventory standpoint, guys, I please know that we are in really, really good shape to go and service the market. So we feel like we've loaded up because there's a significant opportunity in front of us. So if you've got concerns maybe with a competitive product that may be spec'd, or there's an opportunity to supply an alternative product here because of inventory constraints, please give us a call, because chances are we can service that opportunity. So with that, I'm going to jump over and let Jeff take it away on the network level 2 product.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate it. So yeah, I'm going to go over the network level 2 charger that's coming out of wire mold that Kevin mentioned at the beginning of these slides. So Kevin, if you go to the next slide for me. So basically what we've got is we've got a wall or pedestal mount, and those are going to be, comes with right out of the box where you'll be able to mount it to the wall. We've got a single or dual pedestal mount. The level 2 charging capabilities for this is similar to what the Pass and Seymour one is. It has an adjustability from 16 amps up to 48 amps. We're including with it the RFID reader and the 4G cellular network capabilities. It's Energy Star certified for, which makes it eligible for all the incentives and rebate programs that are out there. And which we'll talk in these other slides as well, is that it comes configured with the AmpUP software, who we've decided that we would partner with. And a lot of you guys are probably familiar with AmpUP already because they've been out in the market for a while. So Kevin, if you go to the next slide for me. So what are the key markets and differentiators that make our charger a really good level charger to take to the market? So basically, it's designed specifically for private commercial or hospitality and MDU. So basically when we're talking to the field and our folks, we're saying it's anywhere where people are working all day or they're spending the night. So, that is where we're going to have our most success and the majority of the projects that we're bidding out there already. So some of the differentiators, but it comes with the 4G cellular network, which is, it's a lot better than the spotty Wi-Fi, which is feedback that we got when we first, came back out with this product. The RFID card reader, which allows the owners to be able to really take control of all the chargers that are out there, and they can do the hard sets and resets and soft starts for the software side of it. The ETL listed pedestals that we have, which is, we not all of our competitors have that. It's Energy Star compliant, which fits in with the complements other corporate company sustainability programs, and that's another thing that enables us to qualify for all the incentives that are out there. And then it's easy to use software. That's one of the reasons that we partnered with AmpUP was because they've already got a really good installed base out there, and the software is good. So Kevin, if you'll go to the next slide for me. So one of the feedbacks that we've gotten out when we first released this thing, people were saying, why didn't you go Wi-Fi? Why didn't you go Wi-Fi? Well, all the research that we had done was that the 4G cellular, it's just a more reliable system out there. The quality of the network providers that we're partnered with, gives us the security that we're looking for and that owners are demanding. And then the more that what we've seen now that we've kind of been promoting this product and we're having these conversations with designers and engineers and architects, and once you start to explain to them about the security options, I mean, they all, we're starting to see more and more requirements where they're leaning towards the 4G cellular. So we feel like we've made a really good decision there just from a security standpoint, and just the, for the capabilities that are out there, and it's globally licensed with the cellular stuff. So next slide for me, Kevin. So how do we compare? One of the key points to take away from this slide here, and everybody's familiar with ChargePoint, is that with our charger, we've got an open source software system, which that means that down the road, if an owner or facilities management group or somebody wanted to standardize on a specific software, they could literally come in and swap out the SIM card in our charger and put in a different software, software that they wanted to standardize on. If you've got a system in there like a ChargePoint, it's basically a rip and replace. I mean, you can't put somebody else's software on the ChargePoint charger. They would have to tear out, and we're seeing that in a couple of places where they're having to tear out the ChargePoint charger and put in someone else's charger. And then it already comes, configured with the factory installed software already on it. So it makes it just so much easier when these things can be commissioned before they even hit the field. The cost, well, go back there one point. Let me hit the cost on this thing. And this is actually, if you're looking at these costs down here, this is the contractor costs. You guys, you're probably looking at for a cost of a pedestal and the charger, you're looking at around $1,600. And then I think you guys probably have some back-end rebates. When I was talking to Kevin Major the other day, that we have specifically for you guys. So the two ways to control our charger, you've got the RFID card and the QR code. Basically what this means is this cannot be configured as an open charge, which is, it's actually a really good thing. You've got to be able to have the person that's controlling the AmpUP software, the owner, can configure the RFID card, which you guys are probably all using when you go into your offices to use the charger. Or if you've got you can scan the charger itself, download the app, and access it that way. So what this means is that somebody just down the road can't pull up and plug in and use this charger and use that. The energy costs that come along with that is pretty significant. Next slide. Fast install hardware to software. The ETL listed pedestal. Ours is ETL listed pedestal. What we've seen is not everybody's has an ETL listed pedestal out there. And if you've got an inspector that is aware of that, we've seen instances where our competitors have had to come in and put in a junction box to make that connection. With us, you don't have to worry about that. So in a competitive selling situation, it might be something you want to make sure the contractor's aware of. The unit comes already installed with everything that you need for a wall mount, which makes it a lot easier. The 4G SIM card works with all the major networks out there, so you're not going to have any dead spots or anything that's down. Every unit's included with a quick start guide that allows the installer to set it up before they even get to the job site, which is huge for a contractor. They can go ahead and already have this thing ready to go before it hits the job site. And then once it's there, when the owner takes over, it's just a quick QR code scan for the commissioning side of it, so that the ease of installation and the ease of turning this unit over to the owners is something to take into consideration. The next slide. So how does AmpUP compare to other software companies out there? We made it a point when we started looking at these things that AmpUP, they've already got a really good installed base, and you can find them on other people's chargers out there. We decided that what we would do is go ahead and promote the AmpUP partnership that we have with them. It's already, like we said, it's an open source software system, so it can be changed down the road. On this slide, probably one of the main things to take off is a SOC 2 Type 2 certification, which basically that's a cloud-based security certification that AmpUP has, and that it's a UL certified software. And I had gone over this slide probably about 3 or 4 times when somebody said, how do you UL certify a software? And so immediately I had no idea. I had to call AmpUP and talk to those guys. And it basically says that for load sharing is that the software does what it says it's going to do when it comes to a load sharing application, that it can be used. The fast activation we talked about is under 15 minutes. It's probably, if we're being honest, it's probably literally under 10 minutes, and it's independently owned. Next slide. So our rebates and incentive programs, because it's a network and it's Energy Star compliant, it qualifies for all of the incentive programs and rebate programs that are out there. This is an old slide, and Kevin, when I sent it to you, I apologize. It probably should have been over 50 programs and probably 50 more pending. We've got a person that's specifically sitting and going over these programs in West Hartford at the moment and getting us applied for those things. So if you go to the Legrand website, legrand.us/EVC, you can find these incentive programs out there, these hyperlinks, and you can go through and check and make sure that what kind of incentives are out there, or the contractors can use them when they're selling these products. Next slide for me. The extended warranty, of course, it comes with a year warranty for the charger itself. So we listened to the feedback where we're getting from the field, and they wanted to be able to extend this out. So we've got an additional 2 years and 4 years, which will give you the 3 and 5 year extended warranty. And what the way this is going to be done is that the customer or installer we'll be able, you're required to go in on the Legrand website to activate and extend this warranty, and then we'll be able to maintain that up there. And then as we get this base installed across the country, we've got contractors in every territory that if there is something that happens to the unit that it needs to be replaced, or there's a warranty issue, that we'll be able to contact that contractor and be able to take care of that. So it's something a little bit different than we've done at Wire Mold in the past, but it seems to be successful so far. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar. I don't know if you've got your own revenue calculator, network revenue calculator that you use, but if I could take just a quick little, I'll share my screen right here, Kevin, so I can walk through this calculator that AmpUP has. And I went ahead and preloaded. Can everybody see this? Kevin, can you see it?
Yep.
All right, so I went ahead and preloaded some of this stuff in here. So if you're looking at for the AmpUP software, you've got the core plan for a annual price of $250 per year per charger, and you're saying we're at a facility where we've got 10 charging ports that have been installed. And if you look at it, and you've got, let me go ahead and change this back down. So you've got the importance of selling the network charge revenue calculator. So just say in your area, and I'm assuming it's probably around 14 cents per kilowatt hour is what the utilities companies charges. So if you look at that, just those, if you're taking 10 chargers and each one is probably, if it's being used 7 hours a day, you're looking at a cost of $27,000 per year, or $135,000 over a 5-year period. So the value that comes with the software, and why you need to have these conversations with the owners, is that say you wanted to recoup that cost or actually turn this into a revenue stream. So if you took the charge per hour and you said that when somebody's plugged into this charger, they come to work and they're charging their EV vehicle, and that's going to happen more and more as the years go by. But if say they come in and they want to be charged, we're going to charge them $2 an hour for 7 hours. That loss of $135,000 ends up being a revenue stream over a 5-year period of $107,000. So it puts the ownership in or the ability for the owner to be able to come in and either break even on the cost of it, or turn it into a revenue stream if you're if you're at a hotel or somewhere where people are charging all the time. So I just wanted to make sure that, I'm sure you guys probably already have this or you've seen it. If not, it's available on the AmpUP website. You can go there, and it's a great tool when you're sitting down with the contractor to be able to have these conversations of why you want a network charger in a commercial application versus a non-network charger. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing that, Kevin. You grab it back. And then the AmpUP community, we won't go to that right now, but that shows you all the capabilities of the AmpUP software. So if somebody's coming in and they're plugged into it and they've been there too long, it'll send them a notification. Or if you've got peak kilowatt hours, I mean it does about anything that you can possibly think of to do. So if you got peak kilowatt hours and you want to reduce the charge, you can reduce that during those hours. Just a lot of capabilities. This is just a quick screenshot of what the AmpUP app looks like. It started off back, I think, in 2015, where it was an EV charger locator, and you can still use it as that. When you've downloaded it, you can find everybody's charger that's on here, networked and non-networked, but you actually use this to, when you're working on the AmpUP ones. So next slide there.
Yeah, and I think I can. I'll steal this away from you, Jeff. I've got, I think, 3 short slides, and then we'll have a little bit of time for questions. If that works. So just here's a quick to put a bow on the 3 chargers. So we talked about 3 chargers. Of course, there's other items like pedestals and software and warranties and receptacles that we can add to our mix. But focusing only on the chargers, you've got 3 chargers that'll go serve a lion's share of the market. Of course, the first 2 again are non-networked level 2 chargers. first column shows you all the specs, but behind the plug-in, and then the next is the hardwire, and then the third column is what Jeff just went over. If you're looking to maybe understand or kind of quickly understand how Legrand is kind of centered, the beauty is we have designed both the Pass and Seymour hardwired level 2 charger and the wire mode level 2 network charger to the same exact power specs. So a little bit different form factor because one lives, probably more in a residential environment. The other lives probably, more commercial and public spaces. But you're looking at both of those being a 48 amp charger with adjustable output, 18-foot cable, indoor-outdoor rating, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, the key difference is the software layer through AmpUP and the 4G LTE connection. So hopefully that was all clear. I'm just going to move in quickly to just talk about timing, and most of this is actually in the rear view. So, in March, we launched our network level 2 charger. In June, we launched our plug-in level 2 charger. And just later this week, the 15th of September, we'll be launching our hardwired non-network level 2 charger. So product will be available to ship on that date this Friday. And because you guys are one of our key partners, you're going to get that launch 2 weeks ahead of the rest of the market. One key product per quarter, we're at a pretty good pace, and pressure's on that we keep up with that pace here as we go forward. What are we doing behind the scenes? I couldn't possibly list it all on one slide, but I tried to hit some of the highlights. There's a lot of work that our marketing team is putting behind this effort. I would encourage you to go to legrand.us/EVC, I think it is. And that'll take you to a resources page where we've got everything you can imagine to go support the offering, including a brochure, including videos, including rebate and incentive links, and all kinds of other digital resources. We are doing some targeted marketing campaigns aimed at just drawing awareness to our product with our key customers, contractors being, probably the biggest customer base that we're looking at, but also looking at folks that would be engaged in writing specifications and design works in the space as well. Home builders are another target. So what we're trying to do is generate enough buzz so people have an awareness, and most of the time it's like, hey, I didn't realize Legrand offered a level 2 charger. Let me go talk to my distributor about that. So hopefully you'll find some benefit from that. I know there's another campaign that we're kicking off here in conjunction with the launch of our hardwire product, and we're working on. I know we've got one in-branch display already out there for the network charger. We're working on another one that will effectively marry the two solutions, networked and non-networked, together. So be on the lookout for that. It's not available just yet, but right around the corner as well. Bottom line, if you guys have questions of how do we better support this offering, either in our locations or digitally, chances are we can help you. Let's have those conversations, and we've probably built up the right resources, or we're working on them. So definitely reach out, and we should plan for how to go attack this market together. Finally, I thought I'd leave you with a little teaser as far as what else are we thinking about. If you think about Legrand and all the innovation that we've kind of gotten ourselves into over the years, this is a really exciting category, EV charging, that is, for us to think about. Obviously there's the user experience around charging that we're thinking about, and I think as we've gotten back into the space, we've learned some things, and as I mentioned before, we've got some friends over in other parts of the world working for Legrand that have been designing products in this space too. So without giving too much away, I can tell you that there will be, what I'd call Gen 2 designs, where we'll be touching the interface, where we'll be touching, the functionality, the software, building in smart home capabilities on the residential side. There's some pretty cool things that we're thinking about in development. The other pieces too, I actually think, aside from charging itself, and Jeff, you could probably attest to this, I think we probably have as much of an opportunity to go think about that kind of experience that lives around the charger. Meaning, how is the charger installed as part of a system, part of an infrastructure? What other components, what other problems are there with it? One of the biggest problems right now is around cable management. Well, WireMold happens to do cable management better than anyone in the world. So putting our design teams to that problem is actually really exciting, and we feel like we've got a really good opportunity to go take care of that one. At the same time, thinking about little things like weatherproofing and enclosures. We've seen some really interesting stuff going on out in the Southwest, where temperatures have been 114 degrees and the sun's beating down on the sides of houses. We're looking at some opportunities to take another step in terms of weatherproofing, and I think that extends to this product set as well. So again, without giving too much away, we are looking at charging both level 2 enhancements as well as kind of the surrounding products. And we're looking at other products within the space. So, I have expansion listed on this slide. I'm not going to commit to anything here, but I think the closer we get to our end users, the more we recognize the fact that level 3 and DC fast charging is a real opportunity. There's some challenges there for sure, but there are a lot of customers asking us to take a look at that. So we're taking a look at the market and seeing where else we can go there. Just to summarize this slide, hopefully, if nothing else, you can see that there is a commitment from Legrand in this space. I think we've shown that certainly this year with pretty quick product entry with 3 key products. We will definitely, as we always do, learn from these launches and continue to iterate and get better. And at the same time, we'll round out the portfolio so that we can really be the partners that you guys are looking for in this space. With that being said, I'm through all my slides, Jeff. I think we did it with 5 minutes to spare. I don't know how much time you guys have, but we will certainly take any questions that we have.
If you're shy, feel free to just put your questions in the chat box. You have 2 very knowledgeable guys on the call with you right now. So any questions you have about these products, they are able to answer them for you.
Or if we can't, we know the people that know the answers.
So I have one question. It's more of what we're running into in the field. So Zai and I kind of help with Michael & Sons and FH Fur, and we presented EV chargers, and they came back at us with a few concerns that they're seeing. Number one is GFI breakers being put on these chargers. Is there any issue with yours? Because I know ChargePoint, you're not allowed to put GFI, and if the code is requiring, if it's in a garage or outside, to have GFI protection. And the other one is surge suppression. Does this come with a surge suppressor on it, or do they have to provide an external? And the last comment is more, I'm getting called from everybody that the homeowners are providing their own chargers. So I'm just curious as to how we're supposed to break into that contractor section.
Good questions. I think, Jeff, maybe I'll take as much as I can of that, and you can help with what you've seen as well. The first one on GFIs, it's an interesting one, right? And where you guys are in the country, code dictates that you've got to have the GFI breaker. Yes, you can install our charger on a GFCI circuit. You should not have any issues there. But it does open up, continuous challenges, and that's a frequent one. But no, you should be able to install that on a GFCI circuit without issue there. The point about builders, I think it was home builders you referenced, are starting to get into this and provide their own chargers. I think that's where we are trying to help you there. We're out there with our builder sales team, trying to drive demand and spec. We're starting to have those conversations. I think, most of the product will lie on the non-network side as it relates to builders, although as they get into multifamily situations, we've had some conversations with network level 2 chargers. So I think, Jeff, you may be better suited to answer this one. I'd say we're gonna go about, going after the builders that we have our best relationships with, and trying to seed that product into specifications. If you have builders that we can help go attack, I think we should team up and try and think about how we can help you there as well from a spec standpoint. Jeff, how'd I do on that? Anything?
Perfect. No, I think that's exactly right. Then the thing that the builders are looking for, because they're either building and turning it over or they're building and keeping it, is the open source software system. Is some of the conversations that we've had with those folks is they like that ability, that if it needs to be changed down the road, it's not a complete rip and replace. As far as the contractor side of it, where we're seeing some success, and I think if you're looking at your local contractors there, we're seeing a lot of installs on the residential side of it coming through the service division and service department. They're carrying 2 or 3 of these chargers on their trucks, and when they're going in and being asked by the owner to install the 50 amp breaker, they're going ahead and upselling them on the charger as well. So there's some options there from a service side with the contractor. We're seeing a lot of we've had some success with EV integrators or energy integrators out there. The guys, the contractors that were started off in the lighting side of it, and for the energy consulting side and the solar, and now are evolving into the charger side of it. They'll cross all kinds of territories and boundaries and go all over the country, but they're going in and having these conversations with the owners and developers, having these conversations, and they'll pre-qualify these folks. I mean, the conversations I've had with them, they'll go in, they're seeing a lot of energy, and a lot of conversations about the network chargers. Their hit rate, from what I'm hearing, isn't as great as what they think it's going to be. They feel like as far when the incentive programs and rebates and stuff grow more, that their hit rate will continue to go up. So they see it as an investment in the future of having those conversations, those connections now. So that's kind of where we're focusing our energy at.
Yeah,
if that makes
the
sense.
other question I realized I missed, Jeff, was on the surge suppression. So I would recommend, with a purchase of a new vehicle, you could be looking at pretty expensive piece of equipment. I would recommend surge suppression equipment on that charger on top of this. There is a piece of surge protection it's over current protection and over voltage, under voltage protection that's really meant to protect the charger. And then if the charger got zapped or whatever, it would essentially cut power. But the safer way to do it would be to put that surge suppression on top of it. That's pretty commonplace with most of the chargers in this space, how they operate. But that's what I've seen most manufacturers recommend, and I would recommend that with ours.
So hopefully that answered some of your questions. Or if we missed something, let us know.
For the most part. Now, I'm just doing a quick Amazon search for EV chargers, because that's pretty much what my contractors are telling me, that, they're being provided and they're buying it on Amazon, and the price points are kind of all over the place. There's a level 2 that, they're looking at about $100 to $200 range. It's the corded one. What makes these wall mounted ones better?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of and to be honest with you, it's the same question that we get. Most of the auto manufacturers will put a level 2 cord-ended product it's either a level 1 or a level 2, but a lot of them are going level 2, but it's a cord-ended product in the trunk of the vehicle when you buy it. Couple reasons. One, probably the biggest one is just from a electrical safety standpoint, if you're trying to provide, especially as a contractor, trying to turn over a home to a customer and you want your kind of stamp of approval, I would think you want a product from a trusted manufacturer with it. Legrand has signed off on quality for every one of its products, and certainly is a company that will be around for years to come, and has taken care of customers every time we've had to deal with something. So I think that's the biggest piece. I think there are some nuances within, you can get it into the level of charging as far as, hey, is it 48 amp versus 40 amp versus 32 amp? You can pick apart ratings. We have a third-party certification on our product, so it's safety listed, it's Energy Star listed. So there's a lot of those things that we pay for when we develop that product to be able to confidently stand behind it. At some level, if the contractor isn't willing to listen to those pieces, I think they're taking on a level of risk that they need to be aware of as well.
I think it's more homeowners that they have to deal with that are providing these things, saying, I
No
got
doubt.
it online cheaper, and then they don't buy it from the contractor.
Yeah, and quite frankly, it's a big one that I know on the Pass and Seymour side, when you wade into the Amazon market and see some of these names of these companies just pop up, it's a real problem when homeowners are left to make the decision, because they don't always think through it, and they lead with price, and they're not really thinking through what could go wrong, especially in the example of plugging in a piece of equipment that's delivering 11.5 kilowatts and charging a $75,000 vehicle. There's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. We're trying to figure out how to tell that story, and it's hard to do it. So we'd appreciate everyone who has contact with customers to help me amplify that message.
Well, I will do my best, but if you come up with a script that works, you let me know.
All right.
That's all I got. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I think we have one question in the chat box that was answered. But if anyone else has any other questions, feel free to reach out to the team at OneSource. We will have a demo at the Annapolis counter show coming up, I think next week or later this week, and then also at the Oktoberfest that's going to be hosted in Alexandria.
So Annapolis is Thursday. Thursday.
Yeah. So yeah, we will have the EV charger in Annapolis on Thursday.
Okay.
And if there's any other time that you want to see, reach out to OneSource team. We'll take them out there. We have plenty of literature. We can get whatever you all need in your hands. And if you need to get these guys on a call, I'm sure if we schedule in advance, we can definitely get them to hop on a virtual call. And I know Jeff is itching to get down to DC, so we can always
up to DC.
Up to DC. Yeah. Well, cool. Well, Jeff, Kevin, thank you both very much. Capital, Joe, thank you very much for putting this on and attending with us. And yeah, we hope to sell some EVs in this market.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate the time.
Thank y'all.
I know.